Oh. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। ओम श्री व्यासमुनये नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। We have entered into the 6th chapter, popularly known as Dhyana Yoga, also called Atma Sanyama Yoga. After looking at a beautiful, important introduction by Adi Shankaracharya to this chapter, we entered in the last class the first shloka itself. The shloka said, whoever does not depend upon the result of actions. The first word highlighted the absence of dependence. Anashritaha karmam karotiyah. I would once more say, as I had said in the earlier classes, just this half shloka can bring to us tons of benefit, great amount of relief from stress, strain, anxiety, regrets, etc. Because if you closely examine your own psychological domain, lot of your inner turmoil is you are not accepting what life has given to you, is giving to you, is likely to give to you. You and I are constantly resisting, and wise people have rightly said, it's not what has happened that causes us sorrow, but it's our resistance to what has happened. A very interesting remark. Dr. Sri Kumar Rao, whom I have referred to in recent times a number of times, has a couple of chapters devoted to this psychological truth. As I read his book, I haven't even read 1/3 of it, to be frank, because there are some 66 articles, but I am on it. So, as I read his book, he doesn't mention anything about Gita. He doesn't use the Sanskrit karma, karma phala, phalatyaga, sannyasa, etc. But I smile. As I read the lines in the book of Professor Rao, teaching CEOs and other corporate executives, especially in the Western world, I smile because I say, my God, this is exact Bhagavad Gita says. So I presume Dr. Rao and writers like him, quite a few of them in the world, have very carefully studied the Gita, imbibed the gems of teachings of Sri Krishna, and have done necessary homework on them, and then they are able to share these precious teachings with the Western world. So, resistance. Somebody says some bad word, somebody uses an uncomplimentary word about us and maybe right in front of us. So that is what has happened. Now, as we hear that word, as we get to know that insulting word or facial expression on the part of another person. Suppose we hold it lightly in our consciousness. We understand what the other man is doing, the other lady did, but suppose we put it in right perspective. We understand what is behind that. Partly he is at fault, he should not have spoken such words, and we also understand partly we are at fault for some of the things he is saying are fact based. We messed up thing, and he loudly in front of all and in front of us says, "You are responsible for that failure. The company has lost so much of money because of you." He points a finger at us and says, partly he is right, not fully, because there were other factors too. So, what I mean by putting things in perspective is you see the larger picture and you acknowledge that this man who is getting on my nerve is partly speaking something factual. And then you also see partly it is his dislike for me, or he felt threatened by my doing things well. He thought that I would get ahead of him, and he doesn't like that. So, partly it is his insecurity, it is his inner negativities that are making him say whatever he's saying. Partly it is my own lapses. And then there's a third part, it's neither his fault nor my fault. Life is like that. Life has its imperfections. None of us is perfect in everything. Even among sadhus, I would take the liberty to say, some sadhus like me speak well, relatively. I don't boast that I am one of the best speakers, but apparently I speak well. But I don't do much sadhana. Then there are people who do hours and hours of japa, meditation. Every morning they get up at 4:30, 5, etc. Give them the microphone, they may not speak well. Leave alone speaking, they may not have proper clarity about the concepts of the Bhagavad Gita. And then there is a third person who has some other strength. So sadhus or grihasthas or children or women or adults, old people, anywhere you see, you will find human life has certain imperfections. So in the light of understanding imperfections in human life, you will be able to let go of your resistance to what life has given you. You accept things gracefully, and then once you do not resist and you are sort of calm, not that you will become irresponsible. Thanks to that calmness that resulted from absence of resistance, you are able to look at things objectively and then identify what can be done and what is more, gather the energy to do what needs to be done. All this, dear friends, is implied in that couple of words, anashritaha karma phalam. If you are karma phalam ashritaha, not anashritaha, suppose you are ashritaha, you depend on the karma phala to make you happy, then you will be miserable. Swami Chinmayananji used to say, don't be a thermometer. What is thermometer got to do with Gita? Don't be a thermometer, he said somewhere. All he meant was a thermometer has mercury in it. The column of mercury rises when the temperature rises, falls when the temperature falls, right? Going up and down. Suppose we also, in terms of inner happiness or sorrow, rise and fall, responding to changing situations in the world, what a pity. We must take cognizance of situations. Somebody praised us, somebody insulted us, somebody was indifferent to us, somebody ignored us, and somebody was giving undue attention to us, which also made us a bit embarrassed. Imagine you go to a party and a lady from a distance is looking at you continuously. A sip of Coca-Cola and she looks at you. One more sip and she looks at you. You will get very embarrassed. Why is she looking at me continuously for last half an hour? So these are what happens around you. And don't be a thermometer. Don't let your mood go up or down so easily, responding to what happens outside. So without going long on it, Anashritaha Karma Phalam is a golden teaching by Sri Krishna, with which the sixth chapter opens, opening with a bang. If you have the maturity, have certain steadiness, have a certain, you know, a certain inner quality where you are able to notice, you are able to note, you are able to see, but not out of some suppression, but out of a certain sattvic quality in you, you do not react. Act, do not react, we say. Shrivan Kovi says the first habit among the seven habits of highly effective people is to be proactive, in contrast to be reactive. Be reactive, but be proactive. Do things, take initiative and do things which are in your hands. Do not waste, dissipate your energy on matters which are not in your hands. Anashrita karma phalam. The first order is karma phalam anashrita. In Indian languages, the object comes first and the adjective comes later. Karma phalam anashrita. When you translate it in English, not depending on results of actions. The results of actions comes later. There is the syntactic difference between the language of English and the language, and most if not all languages in India. Karma phalam anashrita karyam karma karoti. Wow, what a precision. If anybody imagines Bhagavad Gita is a lot of philosophy thrown in air and we have to make sense out of it, it is all jumbled up there. Sorry, you have not studied the Gita carefully. If you carefully study with competent guidance, you will find that it is not ideas, varieties of ideas thrown in the air. Rather, it is a number of precious teachings expressed with great precision, supplied in sequence, which also makes tremendous sense. The logical sequence. If there is any repetition, it is with a purpose. It's with a reason. There was a need for repeating, and therefore Sri Krishna would repeat. Arya karma karotya. Because you are now free of disturbances, you should not take up anything and everything that comes your way. This morning I was thinking, sometimes I am stressed. Then I realized I, especially during my tours, give time to so many visitors, and then I feel that my work did not get done, something I had to do. There was a deadline also, and I had a dying duck by the late evening. No energy left because I meet 5, 6, 7 visitors sometimes, every taking an hour or so separately, not together. So is that my duty to meet so many visitors or allow everyone to come and sit for length of time? It's not my duty. I need to be intelligent. Bunch them all, have a time for visitors to meet. And maybe many of the visitors don't mind at all if I call them together. A, B, C, and D want to see me. Call them all together. I'm sharing an example of my own. So, like that in your life too, perhaps you have duties, then you have a number of things which are not your duty. To use a stronger expression, things which are none of your business. You and I get stressed many times because we take up things that are none of our business and suffer. Sri Krishna says, do what your conscience says is your duty. What the Shastras say is your duty. Shruti, Smriti, and examples of great people. And fourth comes your inner voice. I am literally giving the opinion of Smritis. Manusmriti has some shloka which is much quoted. Vedo kilo dharmamulam. Uh, and there's a shloka like that. Veda is the source of coming to know what needs to be done. Veda akhila dharmamulam. Then it says, Smriti shile cha tadvidam. Is Manusmriti, Ajnavalkya Smriti, Gauta Smriti, Parashara Smriti. Our generation doesn't read them, but practically those teachings come to us through other sources. Then Sheela, Smritishcha Sheelam cha Smriti Sheele. So Sheela is the conduct of eminent people. Conduct of people who become models for us or whose shining examples inspire us. And last, I do not remember the Sanskrit expression for it is your inner voice. And modern generation in Kali Yuga put inner voice top, and scriptures are totally neglected. Scriptures are looked at with suspicion or lack of any faith. That is not the way. We must study the scriptures under proper guidance, under sattvic people who have no vested interest, who give the meanings of the scriptures as per the real noble tradition. There is no fanaticism, there is no violence in them, there is no putting down other religions or other scriptures, etc., in them. So we call such people sattvic people. The Rajasic and Tamasic people, give them even a noble book like Bhagavad Geetā, try to interpret it, and halfway they go tangentially criticizing other religions or other Hindu traditions and so on, because they are inwardly so disturbed, they are inwardly so restless, and the interpretations they give and the diversions they make in their lectures only holds a mirror to how disturbed they are. Sattvic people do take cognizance of any social disturbance, but they stay focused on the precious core teachings. Karyam karma, do your duty, do what is appropriate, do what is what Viduraniti would call prashastani. Nishevate prashastani, ninditani na sevate, anastikaha shraddadanaha, sa pandita iti uchyate. A wise man is described somebody who at every opportunity that comes to him does what is worthy. Nishevate prashastani and na sevate ninditani. What eventually will bring regret to his bosom, he doesn't do. Such a person is Pandita. Sasanyasi yogi. Second half of the shloka has a wonderful compliment to the Karma Yogi. The Karma Yogi who is into action but has a certain spiritual maturity whereby he offers all the results to Ishvara. Your will, your desire, thy will be done, as the Bible also says. Thy will be done on the earth as in the heaven. There is some such line in the Bible because it is believed in the first place God rules the heavens. God's law, God's desire, God's will operates in the heavens. And the devotee here says, Thy will be done on the earth also in my life as it operates in the heaven. See, the simple version of it is, Thy will be done. Thy. And therefore, what I wanted, let's say, did not happen. No problem. No issue. God, it's your will. As somebody in North India said beautifully in Hindi, if something wrong desire, Prabhu's itch. If something good happens as per our preferences, it is Prabhu's कृपा. It's कुछ अच्छा होता है तो वो प्रभु की कृपा है. कुछ कुछ बुरा होता है तो वो प्रभु की इच्छा. In this way, it is God will. How the karma yogi is a sannyasi and a yogi, because sannyasa involves letting go a certain resolve, certain decision to do this, to do that, and so on. Though the karma yogi is engaged in karma, he has indeed let go of any sankalpa to do what he likes to do. He rather does what is his duty. So he doesn't have Puja Chinmayananji used to say, freedom is not to do what you feel like doing. Those who are not very sure spiritually, just do what we are so much in this. We are so much pushed around by our own ragadvesha. Rather than doing what our duty is to do, and so not to do what you feel like doing implies by ragadveshas. Then you have freedom. Sannyasi leaves karma literally, and the karma yogi lets go of selfish actions, desire prompted actions, actions driven by whims and fancies. Then what under the sun does he do? Karyam karma. He does duties. Duties and whatever is prashastani, whatever is praiseworthy. Sometimes he may do certain things which are exactly not his duties, but he sees some merit. He says it is a nature of seva, or it is something which is most necessary for his family and him. The spiritual science never objects to biological needs. Biological needs and such needs where it is a matter of appreciation of beauty, art, music, etc. Because that enriches life. That enriches life. So what truly enriches your life is also included. But what could bind you? What could strengthen? What could further reinforce your dislikes are the troublemakers. You have to stand guard against them. So let's see. So we saw the Bhashya on the first sloka, and now we read the second shloka where Sri Krishna further emphasizes that we need not be unduly attached, unduly carried away external circle, Because there are some people who felt that once you wear some orange robes, once you take some new name, once you shave your head, or there are all these marks. So they fancy that they are plain with due respect to all those external marks. What is really necessary for you to go to a higher plane of consciousness, not the external marks, sign. So second shloka says, Yam sanami pahuhu yogam pandava nahi asanyasta sankalpaha yobhavati kaschana. If you are moved by sannyas or somewhere else by some other yogis who have some external grandeur, they are able to fast, they are able to stay silent, they are able to live in a cave. You talk about yogis, some Siddha Purushas or Siddha Mahilas, right? So even I get charmed by many things, even in the worldly context. Somebody gives her visiting card. Is a faculty at Sorbonne, the famous university in Paris. Somebody shows her card. She is a senior executive with Hewlett Packard at the headquarters in Northern California. Oh, so the visiting card, their professional description, someone is working for United Nations, right in New York at the headquarters. Somebody is in Geneva or in our own country. Somebody so close to the Prime Minister. Somebody is in charge of a major organization. So look at that externality. We gasp. I have a long way to reach such a height. This life, I don't think I can come anywhere near where this cousin of mine has reached. She has gone so high and so on. Many a time don't we discover after some time that that person also has his own or her own problems. So to be charmed and to become envious of the external description is very common. And Gita says, don't be carried away by external grandeur, external shine, glitter and glamour. Now, talking about sannyasa, what you call sannyasa, yam sannyasamiti prahu, that beauty, that glory that you bring to your mind are achieved in karma yoga itself. Yogam, in this shloka, yogam means karma yogam. Karma, sannyasam iti prahu. Wise people, when they come across a good karma yogi, loudly or in whispering voice, they speak to each other. Look at this. She is a homemaker. She after the family, elders and children with such selflessness, such service mindedness. She is as good as any sannyasini in the Himalayas or anywhere in the ashrams. This karma yogini no less than any sannyasini by looking at her way. Therefore, yogam sannyasam prahu. For after all, in order to become a good karma yogi, the first and foremost thing is you let go of sankalpa. There is a double negation in here, that is linguistic. Two negatives. Unless you give up sankalpa, unless is one negation, you will not become a unit. A father tells a son, unless you get up early, you will not pass these exams. Get up early, and the positive language is, my son, early, and the negation, double negation in any context. If you do not get up early, you will not become a degree holder, etc. So here also sankalpa, in some bhashyas it is sankalpa is shobhana dhasa. Sankalpa is imagining that by getting that chair, by getting such a house, by getting such a designation, some external marks, I will be fulfilled. That is the imagination. Adhyasa means superimposing. Like on the higher plane, or to see a snake upon a rope is adhyasa. To see a personality upon Satchidananda Tattva, which you really are, is adhyasa. You are Satchit, but where you are Satchit, actually, you see this body, this mind, its success, its failure, its health, its ill health, etc., and either feel good or feel sad. You ought to see what you really are. That is higher Vedanta. You ought to see your Satchit nature, but hardly anyone does it. Even so-called spiritual practitioners are sometimes in a low mood in the itself. And ask them privately, why are you in low spirits today? I sat one whole hour for meditation, but my mind wanders so much, and therefore I am so sad that I am nowhere near true meditation. You have two problems then. One is that the mind wandered. For the 1 hour of meditation during which your mind wandered, 4 hours have passed after that. For next 4 hours, you are depressed. When will I meditate? Well, when will my mind cooperate, and so on? Rama, whatever happened in meditation, let go of it. This self-judgment, I am a poor meditator. I am a poor sadhaka. I am no sadhaka at all. I am so worldly. That is adhyasa. So imagine when my meditation goes very well, when I will be enjoying bliss during these so-called meditation sessions. That is a sankalpa. Just as in the worldly context, when I become the owner of a BMW, when I become the owner of a 5-bedroom house in a... Has connection failed? So, Sankalpa, Shobhanadhyasa. And here we have Asanyasta Sankalpa. Unless you come upon a certain state of mind where, in spite of recognizing you did not get the results that you fancied, you take a deep breath and let go of your insistence, your attachment, of your depending on that kind of result. Please note, in no way you are pessimistic, or it's not that you accept yourself as a loser. I am a loser. I am a loser. I am bound to be a loser. My whole life, I'm not going to be a winner. That is not the teaching. That is not at all the teaching. Don't label yourself as someone who always fails in everything. That's not the teaching. The teaching is put in your best effort, hope best, and for some reason things did not work well, then do not lie down, do not be where you fell. Get up and walk again. That is Sankalpa Sannyasa. One who does Sannyasa becomes a yogi. So here we have Shankara explaining it once more with such clarity, such precision. Yam sarvakarma tat phala parityaga lakshanam paramartha sannyasam iti prabhu shrut smriti vidaha. Those who know the teachings of Shruti, the Vedas, Smriti, a number of great texts that rishis gave to us in our parampara. And why is it called Smriti? Contemplated upon the Veda, Vedic teachings, as their teachers taught. And as they contemplated, they came to understand. Then their gurus departed. Years, decades passed, and this elderly rishi sits and remembers. Smriti means remembering. He or she, lady also could be a rishi. So I often use this, he or she. So this lady rishi reflects, what I have understood from the teachings of my gurus who interpreted the Shruti is this. Then write down. So Manusmriti or Parashara Smriti or Yajnavalkya Smriti or Gautama Smriti and 18 Smritis. I know only 4 names. Manusmriti, I have studied some 100 shlokas, at least out of some 2000 shlokas, put into 12 chapters of Manusmriti. Long ago, we had, I think, 1-day program on Manusmriti in Northern California, 30 years ago or 28 years ago. For that, I had studied, I had got from India heavy, big books on Manusmriti. Those were in the US only. There are Sanskrit commentaries on Manusmriti. Today, Manusmriti has become the target of anger of Dalits and others. We sympathize, we do understand, because a lot of social injustice plays in the society, and that is certainly not good. However, for maybe 10, 15 shlokas, which make the differentiate people, that is, they discriminate people. They don't have to take it literally. They can be understood in proper light. So even then, whatever, if you remove those 15 or 20 shlokas, Manusmriti, 2000 shlokas are a treasure. To learn Manusmriti, because there are some shlokas which are against Shudras, would be to throw the baby along with the bath water. So the wise approach should be to protest against those shlokas or print Smriti without those shlokas. Distribute that. Throw away. Just like if white people had committed certain crimes, you don't go around and start killing the white people. Nelson Mandela, when he took power, he became the president of South Africa, did not say, these whites from the Europe may suffer in so many ways. We are going to kill all of them, or we are going to punish all of them. On the contrary, they also have contributed. They also are part of us. Let whites and us build this country together. Very noble of whatever. So, Shruti Smriti Vidaha. I didn't have to go so much into Smriti. Shruti Smriti Vidaha. You can take it in a very general sense. Those have understood and imbibed the noble teachings of the tradition. Shruti Smriti is an expression that actually represents what is inherited. We in the 21st century have inherited a whole lot of spiritual wisdom. And if we know the essence of that, the brighter side of it, that's where we need to use them, the teachings for our life and for others too. It was a little weak. I had to open the main door of this room. This class is coming to you from Rishikesh, near Jagadguru Sannyas Ashram in Rishikesh, where one of our friends, Swami Abhishek Chaitanyagiri, runs that ashram, and it's a major function which has brought me to Rishikesh, a place known for so many ritual centers. All right. So Shruti Smriti Vidaha, it is said, they call someone who lets go of his fancy for the charm of and emphasizes or stays focused on doing his part very well, right? They call it yoga. Yogam karma anushtana lakshanam. I said Shankara is so clear, so precise. Right away in the first sentence, he shows the distinction. Whereas the Paramartha Sannyasi means the person who in and out said goodbye to karma, does not do karma at all, does just bit for Sharira, he goes, takes alms from houses. In modern times, the sannyasis may keep just a little bit of resources, just a little bit of money or clothes or other things. They never indulge in amassing. They never, in modern times, the Paramartha sannyasi, someone who is in and out sannyasi. In fact, there are some sannyasis even today who really follow what is called yati dharma. Yati dharma, sannyasa dharma. So we can see that their way, their life. But a good number, for whatever reasons they have, not be following yati dharma so fully, but at least to a certain extent, in certain essential sense, if they are sannyasis, the society respects them a lot. So, karma anushtana, somebody does Agnihotra and others, or in modern times, somebody is into a profession, is earning and spending, etc. Paramartha sannyasam, it is praised as no less than that higher inside and in and out sannyasa. Hey Pandava, O son of Pandu. Karma yogasya lakshanasya. Shankara himself had a doubt. How can a karma yogi be praised as a sannyasi? If he says, why not? Shankara says, karma yoga is pravritti, is neck deep or waist deep into anushtana, performing various religious or secular activities. Whereas sannyasa is nivritti lakshana, pravritti and nivritti. You may remember right at the introduction to Bhagavad Geetā as a whole, Shankara had spoken of Dvividho hi vedokto dharmaha pravritti lakshanascha nivritti lakshanascha. For those who are into things, into a profession, into karma, etc., the Vedas teach nishkama dharma. Do them without selfishness. And for those who already have got good viveka and vairagya, the Vedas say it is time you literally let go of secular as well as religious actions. So we have been discussing this. It is said, Kidrisham Samanyam. But what is the common ground for these two? And Kidrisham Samanyam Angikritya Tadbhavaha Uchyate. Why is it said that they are one and the same? Iti apekshayam When such a question has risen, idam uchyate. This answer is being given. The answer is Astihi Paramartha Sanyasena Sadrishyam Kartadvarakam Karma Yogasya. When somebody is doing Karma Yoga, outwardly he looks like caught in the world. He is earning, he goes to bank, draws money, he spends somewhere, he saves, and he takes care of his family. We saw him other day going to a movie also with family members. And in between he ate popcorn, he took ice cream. Suppose you see the external things, you say, where is he equal to a sannyasi? Hold on. The Kartradvarakam, the doer within him, if you can get to see him closely, see her closely, there is a sadrishyam. And what is that? The next sentence says, Yohi Paramartha Sannyasi, that so-called in and out sannyasi, you see, what he does is Tyakta Sarva Karma Sadhanataya, karma and the means to karma, Sarva Karma Tat Phala Vishayam Sankalpam. He is neither interested in doing work nor interested in phala, and Pravritti Hetu Kama Karanam Sannyasya. He goes to the very root of karma. Pravritti Hetu Kama, the desire. Whereas Karma Yogi, for some reason, is still in activity, he is still grahastha, he is still with the family. And Sri Krishna says, that's not a problem by itself. This question arose so many times, even in the question answer sessions after the Gita class. Can one not be a grahastha and yet be, spiritually very high? And we have said, and Shloka as well as Shankara's Bhāshya supports that. Sri Krishna's words are explained by one Bhāshyakara Shankaracharya. Ayamap karma yoga. This grahastha, this person who spends several hours every day in doing karma, karma kurvanaha eva. Kurvanaha, somewhere else it could be kurvan. Karma kurvan parasmaipadi, karmanaha ismanepadi. The word, the root kru is ubhayapadi. You can say karoti or kurute. So karoti is the parasmaipadi form of kru dhatu. Kurute. Kurute Ganga Sagara Gamanam. You have a shloka in Bhagavad. So when you take Atmanepadi aspect, then the present participle is karma kurvana eva alavishayam sankalpam sanyasyati. This man whom I described is giving lot of support to the family. Here and there gets criticized by the family. His spouse, his children, sometimes even tell him, you disappoint us, you let us down, problem. But if he is a great, he accepts all that criticism, he faces all that with certain tranquility. Therefore, karma kurvana eva phala vishayam sankalpam sanyasyati. He is not so dependent upon, and if they criticize, he is not deaf or dumb. He rather examines, are they right? If they are right in their criticism, I correct myself right away. If they are wrong in their criticism, then I bear with them. I love them either way. I love my family members, whether they appreciate me or do not. I do what I need to do for them. I'll continue to serve them. Such wonderful outlooks. Therefore, this man or this lady is as good as any in and out sannyasi. Phalavishayam sankalpam sannyasati ityetam tam darshayishyanaha nahi Yasmat asanyasta sankalpa. Asanyastah aparityaktaha. Some synonyms are given. Phala vishaya sankalpa abhisandhi. Abhisandhi is staying attached. I have to get this. I must get this. If I don't get it, I can't imagine failure, emotional dependence. If that way one goes about it, then one cannot be a yogi because one has no samadhana. That mind will not know peace and therefore na sambhavati. Falasankalpasya chitta vikshepa hetutvat. When you are attached to the phala, working towards the phala is not the problem. But being attached to the concept or the imagination, this is how results should come. Otherwise, I'll be so miserable. By saying like that to yourself, you will indeed be miserable. You must put in your best effort and in between take a deep breath. I have done my best. If I win, very happy. If I don't win, that will not make me miserable. I will see what next can be done. I won't lie down in sorrow. That way, yakkashchana karmi sanyasta falasankalpo bhavet sayogi samadhanavan. Moment you let go of your slavish attachment to karma phala, you will actually become samadhanavan. You will always have an equanimous mind. Avikshipta chitto bhavet. Your chitta will not be vikshipta. Vikshipta means distracted and troubled. No, your mind will be, your antakarana will be at peace no matter what happens. Last sentence in this paragraph, chitta vikshepa hetoho phala sankalpasya sanyastatvat. So, because in the case of this man, he has given up the phala sankalpa, which is the cause of chitta vikshepa, he is at peace. Because chitta vikshepa hetu is no other than phala sankalpa. If that is given up, you are at peace. So friends, these portions give so much of insights into why we become sorrowful, why we live in unrest, and how we can go through life with such cheerfulness which cannot be disturbed or anybody. So we have a great science presented here in the Gita and in Shankara Bhāshya also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.